The comments, opinions, and views shared during this program are of those individual Freemasons and do not reflect the official position of a Grand Lodge, concordant body, appendant body, Masonic Authority, or craftsmanonline.com.
Hey, welcome back to the Craftsman Online Podcast, the only Masonic podcast endorsed by the Grand Lodge of New York. I'm your host, Right Worshipful Brother Michael Arce, and you're sitting here going, what? A midweek Craftsman Online Podcast episode? What's going on? This is our holiday special, and I realized that we have new listeners that come to the podcast every year. I wrote an article years ago entitled, It's a Wonderful Masonic Life. We have some new listeners, and thanks to Brother Reed Endersby from the Grand Lodge of Minnesota Freemasons, and one of the hosts of the Minnesota Masonic Histories and Mysteries podcast, they reached out to me and said, hey, could we read your blog article on our podcast? And I thought, you know what? I should probably read this too. A little backstory on this. So I wrote this article, as I mentioned, around Christmas time, 2021. Think back to where you were coming out of that COVID pandemic, getting back into the lodges. Were we wearing masks? Were we not? Were we allowed to touch candidates? Were we not? There was that whole vibe that was going on, but there was also just the regular how we as men think about the end of the year and getting into the birth of a new year that kind of falls between this 2 weeks period before we hit the holiday madness. That was my mindset as I was settling into my favorite comfortable chair, getting ready to do the one holiday tradition that I have done for myself, and that's watch It's a Wonderful Life. So let me take you now to the article. It's a Wonderful Masonic Life. I'd like to think that before I was a Mason, that I looked at life from multiple angles. Clearly, I was trying. I saw the holidays as a time, a season, a single episode, and a yet-to-be-determined series that would become my life. It wasn't until I reached my 30s that I really understood the meaning of Christmas time. I was thumbing through the old TV guide on Christmas Eve, looking for something to watch during the downtime between putting the kids to bed and preparing for Santa's midnight arrival. My eye caught the title of It's a Wonderful Life. Now, somehow, I have made it this far in life without watching this holiday classic. I remember my father making a big deal about this when NBC started airing it in 1994. To me, it was just an old black and white movie. I preferred 24 Hours of the Christmas Story on TBS. Sorry, Dad, I'll leave the nostalgia to you. But something was different that night. I decided to make the 2-hour and 15-minute commitment with a full bottle of wine. After all, it was my duty to be sure that the kids were really asleep. It's a Wonderful Life is now part of my holiday routine, and every year when I sit down to watch it, something new in the film gets my attention. How Bedford Falls represents Everytown, USA. The bridge scene where, even with the gritty black and white film, in your mind, you can see how deep that water is and just imagine how cold it must be. Knowing the hidden pain in George Bailey's eyes every time something in his life goes wrong. The joy that caused his voice to crack when everyone in town came to his aid. I find a quiet night, start the movie, and enjoy the experience. Now this year, Clarence's line to George,
Each man's life touches so many other lives. And when he isn't around, he leaves an awful hole, doesn't he?
I caught my ear. It connected a few thoughts. The first is in the section of the Fellowcraft Degree Charge that literally discusses our personal contact with others, the influence we have on those who share our circle. How as a Mason, we strive to be charitable, honest, and humble, whether that is bell ringing for the Salvation Army on a cold winter night for a few hours, collecting coats for the homeless, shopping for gifts for those less fortunate, serving warm meals in soup kitchens, or just making time to connect with those who are alone this time of year. It's rewarding to know that we have brothers who give time to make the holidays merry for those in need. We realize that our work is to bring light to dark places. And even if I don't get a chance to meet them or learn the details of their work, these men and brothers, they share the same title of brother that I do, and that's what makes us one and the same. The second part of Clarence's line that almost brought a tear to my eye is when I thought of brothers who have laid down their working tools this year. Those men who were pillars in our lodges as role models and mentors, whose encouraging words and kind smiles made us feel warm, welcomed, and valued. And while I had visions of my brothers who have gone to the grand architect of the universe, I've also thought of a brother who I hadn't seen at lodge meetings in a few years. Sure, work and family and caring for his aging mother, those are all reasons why he hasn't been able to attend meetings, but he's also lost the passion for knowledge that could fill a small library because of a disagreement with a few brothers. And I still hope that someday he chooses to put on a dark suit and tie and surprise me at a meeting. A few days after watching It's a Wonderful Life, I sent this brother a text just to see how everything is going in his world. Lying in bed after watching It's a Wonderful Life, I stared up at the dark ceiling above to reflect on this year. I realized that there's a reason why we love this movie, why we love watching George Bailey's story, because it causes us to examine our own. We choose to gather with our closest friends and family this time of the year for a reason. We want to remember this feeling, knowing that years from now, those hugs from grandparents or the sounds of giggling kids will be our most precious memories. Reflecting on the Masonic year has the same effect. Dinners, ritual practices, community service, the raising of new brothers, those moments serve as the highlights of our year. And while we may know the men who we share that time with, we never really truly understand the significance of these shared experiences in their life. This ripple effect is a theme I understood throughout the movie, and somehow this year, the mix of new relationships and old memories made a deeper connection to the difference we make as Masons in the lives of those who we interact with. Remember, no man is a failure who has friends. Wherever you are, my brother, I send you the warmest holiday greetings. May you continue to bring light in every life you touch. I'm Right Worshipful Brother Michael Arce. I always enjoy our time together, and I hope you do as well, especially this year, with friends, family, and those who have meaning in your life. Until next time, let peace and harmony prevail.